Over the weekend, the Braves had a couple of updates, one positive and one negative. We'll start with the negative. Pierce Johnson is on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation. Obviously, Pierce Johnson has been one of the Braves' best relievers since being acquired at the trade deadline last year. And elbow inflammation is something that's always going to raise some eyebrows. The one good thing that I heard from Pierce Johnson ahead of Saturday's game against the Los Angeles Dodgers after he was placed on the IL is he said they didn't need an MRI or anything like that. So they don't think, obviously they don't think it's something like Tommy John surgery or something big. It's just soreness. So I think it's best case scenario, probably just some rest. Maybe if this was October, we wouldn't be seeing him on the IL. But given it's May, given the history of injuries to the Braves just this season, better to be safe than sorry. That's what it seems like, at least right now.
Yeah, and, it does seem like precautionary. I mean, why else just not get the MRI unless they're just blatantly lying to us, which the Braves never really do any of that. They recalled Jackson Stevens, and there's still a couple of other guys in Gwinnett that, are still biding time, waiting for their chance to get called up to Atlanta, which could be sooner rather than later because some pieces of the bullpen have not been performing. Ray Kerr and Ken Giles, those are the guys in Gwinnett that could get the call up after Jackson Stevens. In terms of the long-term outlook, the hope is that it's not something serious because Pierce Johnson has been, if not the best, one of the best relievers this season for the Braves, up there with all of the other high-leverage guys, A.J. Minter, Joe Jimenez, and Raciel Iglesias.
Yeah, an argument of, honestly, I don't even know if it's
the best.
He might be the best reliever the Braves have had since they acquired him. 0.76 ERA last year in 22 appearances after being acquired at the trade deadline. 3 ERA this year, but if you look back at his stats, he had one appearance out of 13 this year where he gave up 3 runs. Outside of that, he's given up 1 run. In his last 7 appearances, scoreless, 5 of them hitless. So, the guy is...
He's nasty.
Yeah, he's absolutely filthy. And what's crazier is he does it pretty much with one pitch. It's curveball, 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 a heavy dose of curveballs, and nobody seems to be able to hit it. So hopefully it is precautionary. I did want to mention, you mentioned a couple of guys, Ray Kerr, Ken Giles, Jackson Stevens got the call up. Wouldn't be surprised, maybe even before we post all of this, if Ken Giles or Ray Kerr take some replacements in this bullpen. One guy, Tyler Matzek, love him. We'll never forget the moment that he gave us in 2021. We'll never forget the moments that he gave us in 2020 and 2019 when he was one of the best relievers in all of baseball, particularly from the left side. The guy just doesn't have it, man. You hate to say it, but the fastball velocity is clearly, it's not a case of the yips, right? Like, he's not walking guys. He is getting hit and hit hard and crushed. He did again this weekend against the Dodgers. He now has an ERA close to 10. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep trotting him out there. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if he can work through it. I still don't know how much longer. I think you're getting to a point where you got these guys. Ken Giles easily could be a big piece of this bullpen. Yeah. Ray Kerr, another guy, could be a big piece. Dasbell Hernandez, really good player that could be a big piece. Jackson Stevens, they just called him up. I don't know how long he's going to be up there, but there's some guys that are deserving of opportunities, and I don't know how many more opportunities you can give Matzek. I personally, I'd like to see him get a little bit longer of a leash. I'm not sure. I don't know. We are at the point where we have to start talking about it. We can't just act like it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, and I think, the reason why Braves fans love him so much is obviously for that iconic, it will go down in Braves lore among, Hank Aaron's hits, like everything was that outing against the Dodgers with bases loaded or they were 2 on, and he sat down 3 in a row, including Mookie Betts and Albert Pujols before he was a complete shell of himself. So for that reason, the Braves are absolutely, and obviously some of the stuff other than that, the Braves are going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They're going to give him another chance or 2 or 3. I don't know exactly. I wouldn't put a number on it. They're going to give him more than one more chance, I would say, because he's battled back from TJ. And again, it's early in the season. I doubt the Braves internally are panicking. And when it comes to the bullpen, it's still a very, very solid group, even with Matzek underperforming, even with Pierce Johnson on the IL. So I think out of just Brian Snicker and Alex Anthopoulos and how they operate in general, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because of everything he's done for the organization thus far.
Yeah, I mean, but I think in a way they already gave him the benefit of the doubt and holding on to him and handing him contracts when he wasn't healthy. You know, they could have cut ties right after he had Tommy John surgery in 2022, not paid him that couple of $1 million. Could have done the same thing ahead of this season. They have plenty of arms, like we just mentioned. They've kind of given him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know when they're going to start to think, all right, maybe it's not going to come. But personally, I think it's in the back of everyone's Braves fans' minds. And if it's in our minds, you know it's in their minds. Yeah. So I don't know how many more starts he's going to get, but you got guys that are ready. And when you look at this bullpen now, especially without Pierce Johnson, you got Jesse Chavez, who you kind of feel pretty confident in. I mean, the guy has pitched unbelievable, but he's more of a long reliever. Jackson Stevens, more of a long reliever. And Tyler Matzek's the guy right now you cannot put in a game that's within 3 runs. You just can't do it. So you have 3 guys that you're probably not completely confident putting in high leverage situations right now. And you got 3 guys in the minors and Kerr, Giles, and Dosbel Hernandez that you'd feel a lot more confident in those situations. So I think some moves are coming this week. I would be shocked. We play on Tuesday. Look for some moves, probably today or tomorrow.
Generally speaking, when we talked about this, AJ Smith-Shawver got called up the day as we were talking about it being possible. If history repeats itself, one of those 3 guys will be in Atlanta for this Red Sox series. It just happens like that. And you guys will be watching this 6 hours later and be like, are they idiots? Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So it hasn't happened yet, but I am expecting it to happen. And if it doesn't happen today, I would expect it to happen tomorrow because we have an off day today ahead of the Red Sox. The other piece of injury news on the positive side, Sean Murphy has begun hitting off a tee. He's hit off a tee in back-to-back days. There has been no ill effects, no setbacks. I imagine what's next step in his recovery is we start to see him go to batting practice. And once he, shows he's comfortable in batting practice, he's already been doing some defensive work. I think we'll see a rehab stint because he hasn't played in almost 6 weeks. And then from there, he will get back on the field. So I'd still put it around a 2-week timeline, but we're finally getting close. And you talk about an offense that needs some sort of juice, some sort of boost. Now, Travis d'Arnaud had that really hot streak, but he's kind of fallen off. And you know what Travis is. He's not going to carry the offense outside of maybe once in a blue moon like he did for that week. We could really use Sean Murphy and a boost like that in this offense. And hopefully he's right. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully no setbacks. And he's back at least before the end of the month, but hopefully the next week or 2.
Yeah, kind of, just got to see one go through the hoop. Sometimes, sharpshooters have to see one go through the hoop. And, the same could be said for baseball in terms of the offense. And also, like you said, hitting is contagious. Sean Murphy comes up, provides that spark. Also, obviously, catchers kind of set the tone for the game defensively. They control the game, certainly. And Sean Murphy's an absolute dog when it comes to playing. That could provide a spark as well.